Okay, what was Neanderthal culture like? How human were they? How did their lifestyles compare to anatomically modern humans who were indeed living at the same time? So let's revisit Shanidar 1 for a minute and those injuries that had healed. This represents, possibly evidence for compassion. Apparently, if you were a Neanderthal and you got injured, you weren't just left behind. This also indicates a complex social structure as well. So individuals that were maybe charged with taking care of this person after they were injured. So social complexity could be one feature of Neanderthal culture. Neanderthals buried their dead. So we have found a few sites, multiple sites, where there have been intentional Neanderthal burials. Neanderthals used the Mysterian tool industry. Although it's not necessarily only associated with Neanderthals, it extended all through Europe, Asia, and North Africa. Neanderthal technology extended and diversified traditional methods of making tools and developed specialized tools for skinning and preparing meat, hunting, woodworking, and hafting. They rarely used bone tools according to the archaeological record, but Neanderthals were advanced in exploiting new food resources as well as fashioning personal adornments. So they had visual representations of their culture as well. Neanderthal subsistence, which is how they got their food, included hunting, and their sites contain abundant remains of animal bones. Neanderthals may not have been as efficient at hunting as later Upper Paleolithic humans. So anatomically modern humans might have come up with different or better hunting tools. One example is long-distance weaponry. An analysis of Neanderthal skeletal fractures is consistent with up-close hunting methods. So their injuries were actually comparable with other types of injuries seen among modern-day rodeo performers. So people who are in close proximity with large animals. And we don't see evidence that they were able to use long-distance weaponry, like long-distance throwing spears or anything like that. And it appears to be, based on their injuries, that they got up close to their prey. But they also exploited marine resources, so fish and seafood as well. Skeletal evidence supports the hypothesis that Neanderthals could speak the way anatomically modern humans do. This goes back to a site at Kibara, Israel, dating 60,000 years ago. Here we can see the hyoid bone. So the hyoid bone is a small bone, hard to find in these paleoanthropological sites, but this example shows us that the hyoid bone was shaped in the same way in Neanderthals as in anatomically modern humans. And this is a bone in the throat that would influence the way a voice sounds. Other evidence is molecular. So now that we have, decoded the Neanderthal genome, we can see that they have the FOXP2 gene, the same version of this gene that humans do. This gene is important for speech in modern humans. Cut marks reveal that Neanderthals may have had brain laterality, which is evident through handedness. So clearly defined left and right sides of the brain are anatomical markers for the ability to speak. As well, Neanderthals may have had expressive culture. We find perforated shell beads dating from 70,000 to 120,000 years ago. Neanderthal sites in Spain have perforated and painted shells. Red ochre was used as a pigment at least by 250,000 years ago in Europe. So that's before anatomically modern humans and before Neanderthals. So if the species before used this red pigment, the Neanderthals might have as well. And I'm going to show you an example of that on the last slide. So this represents different shades of ochre pigment that have been used in cultures across the globe for ceremonial or artistic purposes. So there's evidence of red ochre being used in the archaeological record dating back at least 250,000 years ago.